2019. This is a regular CRA meeting. Madam Clerk, please roll call.
I'm sorry, Dunia?
Bo-
Viola?
Dunya?
Are you on? Okay.
Thank
Board
you very
mem-
much.
Board
Oh.
mem- Board Member Galvin? Board Member Keys? Board Member Desilme?
Here.
Board Member Estime Irvin? Chairman Bien-Aimé?
Here.
Chairman, you have a quorum to proceed.
And now please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can you pray?
Oh.
Madam Clerk, do you know how to pray?
What time is it? All right, it is now 5:43. Let the record reflect that Board Member Estime Irvin is present.
Can you pray for us?
Sure.
Seriously?
Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you so much for this day. Thank you for everything that you've done for us. Lord, as we're about to partake of this meeting, be with us, give us wisdom to continue on with the meeting. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much. Can I have a motion for the approval of July 9, 2019 minute,
So
please?
moved.
Second?
I have a motion made by Board Member Desilme to approve the July 9, 2019 minutes. The motion was seconded by Board Member Keys. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The item passes with a 4-0 vote.
Agenda item 1.
Okay. Good
Agen-
evening. Oh, go ahead. I'm going to
Agenda item 1, resolution to approve fiscal year 18-19 budget amendment. A resolution of the chair and board members of the North Miami Community Redevelopment Agency approving the fiscal year 2018-2019 amended budget. Authorizing the CRA executive director to transmit the fiscal year 2018-2019 amended budget to the city of North Miami and Miami-Dade County. Authorizing the CRA executive director to take all actions necessary to complete the approval process for the fiscal year 2018-2019 amended budget with the city of North Miami and Miami-Dade County, and providing an effective date. Let the record reflect that at 5:44, Board Member Galvin is present.
Good evening, Rasha Camo, CRA Director, for the record. And the Executive Director just briefly excused himself, so I am going to start with the presentation. Before you, this item is the budget amendment presentation for this fiscal year, 18-19. This PowerPoint that I'm showing is in your agenda packet. It's right after the resolution and also the narrative in the spreadsheet. Following, when we were audited by the Office of Inspector General, one of the recommendations that they made was that we needed to properly record and do by budget amendment our carryovers when we have done our final tally. And since the year actually ends September 30th, but we won't really finish tallying our expenditures and future encumbrances, we don't get the final number until after the year. The new year has started and we've gone through our audit. So before you is a presentation, thank you, a presentation of the amended budget that we would like you to consider for approval. As you can see, again, the city TIF contribution is still the same. The TIF county contribution is still the same. The carryover, we project, this is a projection that we do, and we did a conservative projection for last year for the carryover, but after the audit was done and the books were closed, we actually had a larger carryover that we needed to encumber. So before you, this is what I'm presenting. So the actual carryover is $5.4 million. So the difference between what we had projected and the actual carryover is $3.6 million. Additionally, we had conservatively budgeted for our interest on investments. This is our money market account. We were able to successfully work with the bank to increase the interest that we get on our money. Previously, in the past years, we would get $3,000, $6,000. Now we're actually getting good interest on our investment, so it's actually about $50,000 a year. Maybe next year it'll be a bit more, so we're also recording that as additional revenue. Under the miscellaneous revenue, I don't know if you're aware, but the CRA has moved. We're in the old cone compliance trailer, and we have a subtenant, State Representative Dotsie Joseph, shares the trailer with us, and we share the expenses. So every month I send her a bill for the shared expenses, utilities, and cleaning services. So that's an additional miscellaneous revenue to cover the cost of sharing the property. So the total amended budget that we're asking for you to approve is $11,976,701. Following on the expenditures, again, if you look at the amended budget, we put up, most of the expenditures were actually under the capital improvement. Our commercial grants, as you'll see in my report for the next fiscal year and our past activities, our commercial grants line item went up tremendously. Again, we bought the street sweeper, which was $281,000. We had booked it in the previous year, but we had to carry it forward. So in terms of the expenditures, it all aligns with what we said we were going to do, except most of the expenditures for the capital projects happened this year. For instance, the Mocha Plaza, even though it happened last year, but half of the funds were actually expended in this year when the project ended finally at the end of October. So we had to book that expenditure for this year as opposed to last year. If you have any questions, this is for the 18-19 amendment budget that we would like you to consider approving.
Thank you very much. Public hearing is open. No one shows. Public hearing is now closed on the dais.
Move to approve.
Second?
No questions?
I do have a question. Is this on? Question, Rasha, in the back of the, I guess, that's the budget narrative, the line item for 18-19, that column, is that what is that the amendment that you're asking?
The
Okay.
amended one. If you're looking at the back of the 1920, you'll see an actual line item also.
I see it.
So don't pay attention
Don't
to
pay
that
that.
because that's for the next
Okay.
item.
I guess that's my question is for the
Yeah.
next one. Okay, never mind. Thank you, Ira.
Madam Clerk?
I have a motion made by Board Member Estime Irvin to approve Agenda Item 1. The motion was seconded by Board Member Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The item passes with a 5-0 vote. Agenda Item 2, Resolution to approve Fiscal Year 1920 Budget. A resolution of the Chair and Board members of the North Miami Community Redevelopment Agency approving the fiscal year 2019-2020 budget. Authorizing the CRA Executive Director to transmit the fiscal year 2019-2020 budget to the City of North Miami and Miami-Dade County. Authorizing the CRA Executive Director to take all action necessary to complete the approval process for the fiscal year 2019-2020 budget with the City of North Miami and Miami-Dade County, and providing an effective date.
So this particular item is for the upcoming fiscal year, 1920. This is the proposed budget that we would like you to consider for approval. For the upcoming year, our city TIF contribution actually went up by 34%. As you can see, these are the gross numbers under the column, $5.2 million. Last year it was $3.9 million. The county TIF contribution is $3.3 million. Again, last year was $2.5 million. We're projecting our carryover to be $3.2 million. These are for projects that we've already undertaken. These are grants that you've already approved, but again, because it's taking longer for them to be done, these are carryover items that we need to continue on our books. The projected interest on investments, again, $50,000. And the miscellaneous is, the manager said, explained to me that it's minimal, but as next year comes in, when we do our year-to-date, you'll see the actual revenue that I'll bring in as part of my sharing the space with State Representative Dotsie Joseph. I just want to remind you that as per the interlocal, the county gets the full refund of the west side and of the east side up to $1 million. So the county contribution is $3.3 million, but we have to refund them $2.5 million. So our net revenue is $802,995. We project that next year, our TIF will go up again. Again, the Costco tax and all those items were not recorded by the property appraiser, so with that, we know it's gonna go up. When that happens, we will be capped at $1 million, and that's all the county will be giving us for the next 28 years until we sunset. For the city side, the interlocal requires us to refund 45% of the east side to the city. So again, the gross city contribution, like I said, is $5.2 million. We will be refunding the city $667,146. That is for the east side. So our net revenue for the CRA is $4.6 million. I wanted to share with you briefly the narrative that you have in your packet. Elaborates on all our accomplishments and what the staff has done on your behalf, but I just wanted to give you a brief overview of the accomplishments that, you know, the staff has been working on. Over $2 million in commercial grants. We've funded to date in the housing initiatives 87 homes through the single-family rehab, and I'd like to remind you that in the interlocal, one of our benchmarks, thank you very much, one of our benchmarks is that we need to do a minimum of 70 units of affordable housing, whether rehab or new, by 2024. So we've already met that benchmark as it pertains to our requirement to the county for performance purposes. Thank you, sir. The Mocha Plaza renovation, the street sweeper, the Iron Manors renovations. We've provided 62 Ring doorbells to residents through the police department. We've acquired 5 license plate readers, and we've completed our first mural, which is in the Liberty Gardens Park project. Again, these are just a few of our accomplishments. I just wanted to give you an overview of what we've accomplished this year. The proposed expenditures that we have, and I will walk you through them. For 1920, as part of the strategic positioning in downtown Nomi strategic plan, we had prepared and budgeted for hiring a public relations firm to properly market and promote positive experiences of being in the downtown Nomi and the city of North Miami and all the development initiatives that we're going to undertake for the CRA. We were able to put it out to bid. However, we were not able to get that matter resolved so that we can bring it to you this year, so we're carrying that forward. Establishing a downtown neighborhood ambassadors and clean team program. That's also an item that we would like to bring back to you. That was part of this year's project that we were not able to accomplish. Launching the monthly strolling event and enhancing the Jazz at Mocha. Fortunately, Mocha has hired Adriana Martinez as their full-time events person, so now I have actually somebody to work with to enhance the Jazz at Mocha, to attract new people to downtown, and also she's been working with the businesses along the corridor, and she's going to come back and help us with doing a monthly strolling event as we've been trying to do. Continue implementing the Arts and Public Places program to beautify and activate these unexpected pockets of the downtown. Last phase of the Mocha enhancement. The Mocha enhancement was in 3 phases. One was the building, the second part was the Mocha Plaza, and the last part is the Mocha Courtyard. $2.5 million in housing initiatives, out of which $300,000 will go towards the 5 energy efficient unit project for elderly people 55 and plus. $250,000 in street furniture. We intend to replace all the old CRA trash cans that you see throughout the major corridors throughout the CRA and add new ones along the major corridors where there are bus stops. This is part of the Clean Team Master Plan. We are a member of the city's Clean Team, and this is part of our contribution to keep the city clean and beautiful for its residents and its members. Additionally, bike racks in certain business areas. There are several businesses that are interested in having bike racks in front of their property so that bikers can come and patronize them. Complete the design of the West Dixie Green Trail and the Griffin Center. The Downtown P3 initiative, we've discussed that before. This is extremely important because it's also part of our interlocal obligation with the county. That was one of our benchmarks, to do a parking garage development with retail and actually make it something a little bit bigger by 2024. Continue providing commercial grants to the businesses in the area. Establish a NOMI restaurant boot camp program. We've been working with the procurement department and actually the FIU food incubator program to work with us on creating a curriculum to help the existing mom and pop businesses. At this point, we're ready to finalize the curriculum and bring it to you for approval so that we can implement it for this fiscal year. Continue working on implementing the Northwest 7th Avenue Innovation District work. And also, as part of the innovative community policing, we've gotten several requests, mainly by the police. The Ring doorbells were a big hit, and the residents that feel, they're elderly or disabled and they feel vulnerable, they like the Ring doorbell, and so there's a greater demand for it. The chief has asked for 3 additional license plate readers to add to what we have, so that would give us a total of 8. So showing you on the expenditures, our total administrative expenses would be $456,128. Operating expense, which is about 4% of the total budget. The operating expenses is $1.6 million, which is 14% of our budget. The refund to the taxing authority, primarily to the county, counts for 27% of our budget, which is $3.1 million. And the capital improvement projects that I just mentioned is $6.6 million, which comes up to 55% of our budget. If you have any questions, I and the executive director are available to answer anything.
Thank you very much, and open to the public. No one shows, and let's bring it to the dais. And we're gonna start with
questions.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You want to go?
there are no
Okay.
questions. Okay.
Just a quick comment, and I think I expressed to both of you in the staff or whatever meeting that we want to call it that we had. I would like us to take our affordable housing programs to the next level. In the last few years, we've been pretty much limited to small fixer-uppers around the house, and that's nice. I don't want us to get away from that totally, but I would like to see us provide opportunities for new affordable housing units to be built, and coming up with some more solid results.
So, through the board chair, on the, I guess, as part of the city side, I guess, if you will, we will bring an actual, I guess, a full plate of avenues in which we will progress. I've spoken with each of you individually, so we've talked about single-family, multifamily rehabs, actually leveraging our dollars to build new units from ground up. Actually, I know the mayor has us looking at some properties that we can potentially leverage as well, depending on how we, work with developers in the community. So we'll bring kind of I think we need to bring like just a plate menu, if you will, of the policy and procedure things that we want to advance, and then you guys can, absorb it and give us any further direction. But you'll get that. I can get that to you guys in the next 2 weeks.
And my last thought or concern, if there's something that comes to us that we're not currently, have on the burner, a new development project that would happen to come to us a month from now, do we have the flexibility in this budget to come up with ways to address that, or does this budget lock in dollars?
It's not locking in dollars to any specific project allocation as far as the housing is concerned.
No, I'm getting away from housing.
Okay.
Yeah, and in general.
So as far as the projects that we're leading, yes. So we do have, and we're required by statute to allocate our dollars to specific projects and programs. To the extent that we need to make an adjustment in the year because we realize one project may not be advancing as quickly as another, we do have the flexibility to come and make that change. So we can do that. But as far as what is being done here, we are kind of specifically allocating the dollars as is required by statute.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Next.
You wanna go? Okay. Rasha, I just have a few questions regarding the professional services. I know it went up. Just a quick explanation of the professional services. What is that in detail, and is that the public relations that you
Some
are?
of it, yeah, on page 14, if you'd like to follow me under professional services, it is for the creation of the restaurant boot camp project. That would be a consulting contract would have to do with FIU. Public relations, social media, the public-private partnership. If we do, when we do work on the P3 project, and it would have to be a professional or consultant with that experience that would be coming in to do it. So we're
Got it.
budgeting accordingly for it.
And with the public safety, I know the public safety officer, I know we had conversation regarding that line item, but I guess that's something we could discuss moving forward. But the clean team and / ambassadors, I know, and I don't want to mix apples and oranges, but last night there was a cut in the actual clean team that's cleaning the block by block. So this $500,000, well, 440. What is that? I mean, what is that envision? Because that's been my question mark.
So with regards to this is, if you recall, yes, last year,
This year.
was it earlier this year?
Yeah, it was
Earlier
year.
this year, we brought an item to the council with regards to an outsourced
company?
clean team. Yeah, it was the name of it, and you said block
It's
by
called
block.
block by block.
It's ironically, it's called block by block. That would come in, supervise a team of individuals, all locally hired, to do everything in a kind of
Quarter mile.
a
radius.
quarter mile from our downtown core. That would include graffiti cleaning, street cleaning.
We have
garbage-
graffitis
Cement.
around downtown?
Yes,
Yes,
we do.
yes, yes,
Where?
On
we
the
do.
trash cans and on the poles, we have
Oh, come
quite a
on.
bit of
Right.
graffiti.
The plazas, our sidewalks and all of the
Major
areas to kind of
corridors.
keep them, so when you come into downtown, I think, the mayor said it, when you come off the expressway, when you physically see something
But we're not
different,
talking about that the parameter you're saying within a mile. I'm
quarter
fine with
mile
it.
of here, quarter mile of downtown area.
My concern is that the street team that we have, I would like to see the enhancement, and we talked about that a little bit more. So
And
that's
so,
one
and I didn't want to
setup.
mix.
So, exactly. So I don't feel too comfortable giving a company something that we have seen that actually the residents do like what we do, and that works with our own residents. $400,000 for that. That was my concern back
Okay.
then. It still remains.
So,
a little
to
bit.
address the city's budget side of the issue, and actually I have it here on my other computer. We've made you guys asked for an adjustment in the team, and we're making a increase to that clean team in order to have more availability of hours for that group in,
I just
per your
feel like
request.
it's just too much for a cleaning program.
well, right now, and the way, if you want to do it, right now it's the budget.
Yes.
We still have to bring back we would have to bring back the actual contract to the council. So if you want us not to go forward, then we would just.
No,
have to
not me.
reallocate.
I'm just speaking. The other one, the commercial, because I thought that part of the CRA is us really helping the commercial, the incentive program, and it kind of went down a little bit this year from 1.5, from 2.3 to 1.5. So that's where, because that's giving the facade, that's where the facade and all that?
Yes, that's the
Yeah,
commercial
that's
grant
everything.
Yeah.
program.
So the big change there is, obviously, we allocated more money to housing relative to the commercial grants. However, as you saw in our current fiscal year, we estimated what our year-end closeout would be, and it was obviously significant than it was prior year, and we take the same approach. So I expect, to the extent that we have applicants, in need of those grants, we can make some budget adjustments throughout the fiscal year to address
that.
specific, if we get that one project that we really need to fund.
And then the capital, under infrastructure, the capital improvement is that the same line item? Just kind of, well, that one is good, the infrastructure grant. Is that for the street, or what is that? The capital/infrastructure grants?
Under, if you, let me see.
Under capital projects,
If you look at page 8, is it 16?
16.
I need my glasses, I apologize. You'll see it's broken down. It's the Mocha Courtyard, it's the P3, it's doing the design for the West 60 Green Trail and starting it, and doing the design of the Griffin Center. And also, the Chinatown, the design guidelines for that. And I have it in the PowerPoint. For the gateway signs and the design guidelines for the Chinatown, for the Northwest side
no,
of the
what
town,
I'm saying,
Chinatown.
that's fine, because it's, it, it goes up, that's the mission of the CRA. My only thing was the capital in the incentive program, that when we give our business owners, the grant, that kind of went down a little bit, so, those are my two little concerns. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I get
Mary,
So I'm definitely okay with it. Thank you for taking the time to review it with me during, I think it was last week. When it comes to the commercial grant, I guess I'm somewhat concerned. However, I believe that what we're trying to do in terms of affordable housing is really urgent at this point. So I think I can stomach this for this fiscal year, and hopefully we can go back to what we're accustomed to. Other than that, everyone knows about my initiative to really encourage our West DC Corridor business owners and future owners and developers to come on and take advantage of our beautiful city. And so that's all that I really have to say. And yeah.
Mayor, I have a question.
yes.
On the $2.5 million we moved to the city for affordable housing, our director made a comment that now the city would be doing that. First of all, we moved $2.5 million. That's just taking a number that we're gonna use towards affordable. We haven't decided how we're gonna spend it, how we're gonna apply it.
Correct.
But my question is that now gonna be a council decision as opposed to a CRA decision?
Yes, so you guys adopted a policy on this side to allow for the city to be the implementer, if you will, of your affordable, of your housing initiatives.
Okay, so all decisions on how it's spent,
Is on the council now,
okay.
which
When-
was a decision you made as
When
a
it comes
board.
to affordable housing, we just had an election, and we were on the campaign trail, and affordable housing, it's a need in our city and in Miami-Dade County, in the entire state of Florida. As a matter of fact, we were pleased that the new elected governor, in his proposal budget, was able to increase over $600 million for affordable housing. We don't understand, and the city of North Miami, we're barely gonna see some of that money. It's important that we bring new units to the community. That's why we are bringing policies to address affordable housing. As a matter of fact, is in the charter of the city, where we need to provide affordable housing to people in need. That's when it's a must for us. That's why we spend money and have a survey done by Florida International University. They make recommendations and to our city. And from that recommendation, we realize that the city of North Miami is over advanced when it comes to affordable housing with our home rehabilitation program, where we put money from the general fund to address affordable housing. But my intention when we said let's put money for affordable housing is not just for home repair. We're talking about affordable housing is to increase the amount of units in our city. That's what it is. We're not gonna use it just 2.5. As a matter of fact, the $2.5 million is not enough. We have to work the budget to see, in the CRA, to see if we can bring it up, because the county in the new interlocal agreement stated that at least 10% of our budget need to be put aside for affordable housing, and every year to balance our budget, we have to find way where we can find money. Now, thanks to Solemia, we were able to find $4-5 million to balance our budget, but without that money, our tax revenue is kind of static, right? That's when we need to find way to bring more revenue to the city, and one of the plan we can put in place to do so is bring new units to the city. That's when we say affordable housing, is affordable housing, buying land, buying, spend money on multi-family home repair, and incentive to bring new affordable housing in the city. It's a plan. We have that. We have the survey already. It's not just like we're gonna spend $2.5 million for home repair. That's not the plan. It's affordable housing, and anything we wanna spend, we're gonna bring it before council for approval. And as a matter of fact, I think $2.5 million is not enough. And I have a few questions for you. I see when you, and operating expenditures, employee salary and fringe, $450,000 for that, for what?
It covers a 10% of the executive director salary, a full-time CRA director. This is on page 13, a full-time CRA grants and
Give me a
programs
second,
coordinator.
let's making sure.
Remember, we are paying half.
Wait.
Oh.
Page 13, you see.
Yes, sir, in the narrative.
On top,
Yeah, it's number 1 under operating expenses.
Okay,
We are paying for 50% of a CRA housing programs coordinator, which is not part of the 2.5 million.
now I say 3 legal
we're paying-
service costs.
But in the salaries, you're asking me to provide the breakdown? So that's what,
it's on, no.
it's number one.
Page 13.
13.
Number 1 on page 13.
Oh, okay.
Half a CRA housing inspector, the capital projects manager, and also we now have a full-time street sweeper driver. The city has its own driver and its own truck. They're now using the CRA truck that we paid for, that we bought, but we have to actually now pay for a driver. So
That's been,
that's a
money
new
transferred to
position.
the city's account.
No, the way they do it is they quarterly Mr.
Go ahead.
Okay.
You
They
explain.
quarterly they bill us, and we quarterly reimburse the city for the salary and expenditures.
Okay, but the employee is under the city, is on the
Under
city
the
side.
CRA, they would be on that particular person, because they have to make sure that they are doing just the CRA and stay within the boundaries.
The street sweeper only do the CRA.
The
and
CRA street
C-
sweeper,
CRA, it only does the CRA area.
which covers 60% of the city, but
And you hire a project manager?
yes, sir. The capital projects manager to oversee. So what we were doing in the past for all these capital projects that we were taking on, it wasn't just me. We were actually borrowing other city employees, and it was additional work on them. So the manager felt it was necessary, now that we're actually gonna start doing a lot more capital projects, to have a properly qualified capital projects manager to oversee these projects. He's currently the one supervising the Liberty Gardens project. He finalized the Iron Manors project,
Sasso Pool.
the Sasso Pool project.
But the
He's
city
finalizing
doesn't have
this
a project manager?
We have one. Jeff Geimer is our overall project manager for the city.
And he's also.
So
the
he
fleet.
oversees every single city project, along
And
with
the motor pool.
Whistler. He deals with fleet, motor pool, so he has quite a bit on his plate. So, the
That's
FT
when you
is-
have the city oversee Sasso Pool, and you have the CRA
No.
oversee the same project.
We had the city overseeing Sasso Pool. brought this young man in about maybe 60 days ago, and he took over that project, the Iron Mountains project,
Liberty Gardens.
Liberty Gardens, and actually already hit the ground running. So
How much do we are we paying project
He's a
man?
29-hour.
he's 29 hours right now.
It's
So
like
I think it's $30 an hour or something like that.
Okay, when you say 29 hours, $30, that's a lot of money. Okay.
Well, I mean,
Okay. Let me ask you a question, another question.
Yeah.
You have a project manager, right?
Yes.
You have a CRA housing inspector, and you have a program coordinator, and you have an housing coordinator.
The two positions, anything that says housing, they're actually housed in CPND. In your city budget, as you recall, it's showing like 50% of that person. The CRA is funding the full position.
Okay, those
Because they
positions,
manage the
those
CRA
positions,
housing.
those positions, right?
Mm-hmm.
They are on the city side.
Yes,
yes,
Paid by the CRA.
Yeah.
a half of it.
half of it. So
Half-
again,
okay, okay.
quarterly, they just send us a bill. The city
Okay,
would
that's
send
why
us a
you
bill
put it
quarterly.
there.
Yes.
Yes.
correct.
Oh, okay, it's not
Yeah.
a full-time pay
It's
by
not, no.
you on top of the city
This
employee.
is to
Okay.
manage the CRA projects that you are approving and funding. So like the
Housing.
last 87, yeah, the housing, the last 87 homes that the board approved for the past couple of years, those people at the CPND, the housing division.
Okay. You said executive director and the CRA director.
That's me.
Okay. You also pay the deputy city manager, right?
He's under the administrative overhead services. If you go into the administrative, so on page 12, the previous page, item number 4, every year, we pay the city an administrative fee. It covers
How much
finance.
it is?
So this year, it's $358,000 as per the interlocal. We can only pay 6% of administrative overhead. This is only 3%. The manager wants to keep it as low as possible, as lean as possible, so we can have money for the capital projects. This covers, as you can see, the IT department, procurement, the finance department, the budget, those people that are actually behind the scenes, cutting the checks for us, processing the items that we need to get done, so that the residents and the businesses won't call you for a check.
I see we start, go ahead.
Yeah, with that said, Mr. Manager, remember we had a conversation, I had a business owner, who, I think Rosa and I went out and met with him on 17th, and I think I spoke to you about it. I forgot the gentleman name, we don't need to put it on record. And part of his, I guess suggestion, and another business owner suggests that also, as we are hiring these folks, we need someone who, at a point, I'm not saying right now, to assist these folks, not only shove the paperwork. He didn't really need much from us.
I know
You
the
know what
case.
I'm talking
I know
about?
the case, yeah.
So what he,
We dealt
we dealt with that? Okay. So, just for my colleague up here, just a little bit more, I guess, coordination between the department and that particular owner, instead of helping with the inner relations, inner department type of stuff. And I don't want to get into the detail too much, but a lot of the businesses that they really badly need that person to kind of help them out from A to Z, instead of us just emailing and it takes 30 days to hear back from us, or 60 days, and they miss the deadline. Thank you.
Okay, and there's a problem that we used to have when I first got here. It's like we used to spend a lot of money on the administrative side of the city. That's why we decided to combine the CRA with the city administration, so we can spend way less money, and we start from 200 and change to $500,000 in 2 years. I want you to notice that, from 287 to $450,000. And after that, next to that 450, operating expenditure. You said you have other opera expenses
Yes, sir.
for 245,000.
Mm-hmm.
For what?
That's to cover, it's our printing, our collateral materials, the banners, productions of business training, seminars, promotional activities. It's detailed on page 13. I have the bullet points right there. That's
245.
funds, like the mayor's quarterly luncheon, the, downtown, walkers guides, the events, the signature event, for instance, the Mac and Cheese Festival. We've done it 2 years in a row. We're gonna do it again. Travel and conferences, this is to cover for us to go to the Florida Redevelopment Association
How much is-
conference.
How much it is for travel?
I'm sorry?
How much for travel?
The travel is 18,000. Off the top of my head. And as I was saying, the FRA conference, the P3 conference, there are several conferences that I and staff attend, and some advisory members and some of you board members attend.
Another
So,
point. Okay. Professional service, 280,000.
yes, sir.
You add 160,000 from last year to this year.
Again, that's because this year we did not get the PR firm. That was already approved in the budget, but we didn't get to bring it to you to get it approved. So that's a carryover from this year to next year. It's the restaurant boot camp. Those are initiatives that we had in this year's budget that we did not get done, and we're just carrying it over.
And this year you're gonna spend 280,000 on doing
It's
what?
estimated for that amount,
To
but
do what?
to the PR firm, the restaurant boot camp,
What restaurant boot camp? What it is?
we talked about it, previously. This is an initiative, that we feel is necessary to
Guys,
help.
we need to increase our tax revenue, man. All this money
That's
not
hel-
gonna do nothing to increase our tax revenue. $280,000 for book for what? 280
Have they
for
been
what?
brief?
280 for what?
That is a total amount of several professional services. Like I said, the restaurant boot camp helps. We're doing a pilot program to help the existing mom and pop restaurants.
We just have a few restaurants in downtown,
But-
2 restaurants.
So-
Mr. Mayor, Councilman Disarmia would beg to differ.
Yes,
If I
sir,
would.
and me too.
I would beg to differ with that one.
To what?
Well, no, I say I'll beg to differ with that one. That was one of the things that I spoke to the CRA about what we could do, because I've seen it done in others. It's to help out some of these restaurants on business acquisition. There's a lot of them marketing materials on how to actually effectively run a business, where that's really hurting the livelihood of these businesses. So on West Dixie, 7th Avenue, there's a lot of these restaurants, and I know they don't even accept a credit card. They don't. The takeout, the procedure, and these folks, they are crying because they don't know how to run.
Okay.
I don't
And
think
I-
that's 280. She's saying that's
No, it's
part of it.
part
It's
of it.
part of it.
Yeah, it's
And-
not
and-
280. I wish it was 280.
And I-
We'll get all the.
How much money is for that project?
According to the evaluation so far that I've talked to FIU, it would be like about 100,000.
What about the rest?
The rest, like I said, is the public relations firm and the public-private partnership, the downtown redevelopment that we have to do. So this
What
is having,
downtown redevelopment?
So it's working on the P3 to do the garage and redevelop the downtown area. Mr. Mayor, if you would allow me, I hear you just say that you want us to focus on things that will create more revenues.
Mhm.
So would you like us to focus more on the commercial grants? I mean, is there a particular specific area you'd like us to target?
I
'Cause
need
it may be
I need
easier.
affordable housing. I need more money than $2.5 million for affordable housing. And I understand some people don't want affordable housing in the city because But we need new units in the city. That's what we
Well-
wanna build units
So,
in the city. We need to increase the size of the city.
so let me make this suggestion, and I think you guys realize this, we've already had this happen. When we look at a number that's that big, and we've been dealing with a number that's been between 700 and I guess $1 million the last couple of fiscal years, the time and the resource necessary to implement, and that's just implementing the way we've been doing, which has largely been the rehab program. It takes a significant amount of time, and I'll take this knock. We haven't been able to get them out the door as quickly as possible. What I would suggest right now is, given the large number and the fact that we are bringing some policy, this affordable housing global policy to you, I would recommend or suggest right now to you that we hold steady with where we are, allow us to work our way into a rhythm on how we deploy the money.
Yeah, but understand.
Before we, and I know,
Mr. Executive, understand that affordable housing is not new to the world, it's not new to Miami-Dade County. And we know exactly, even if you have $100 million right now, you want to build real affordable housing, you will be able to do so. We need that. That's mean it's not just something we're going to try. It's there. The plan is there. We're not going to invent anything.
well,
And
I think my point is that with this level of allocation,
because
12
I see
months,
too many
12 months.
professional service here, PR there, firm there, consultant here, this and that.
so
But-
if it is the pleasure of the board, we cut back on those areas and add it. But adding another 200,000 to that number, what I'm suggesting is the time it will take for us to start implementing will probably exceed 12 months. When
Do
you
we
talk
not?
about,
What
Can I
talk
ask-
about
I've been talking
building
about
and-
that. I've been talking about that since January, even before I was elected. They're asking you to
I
work on
understand.
affordable housing. We are, as a matter of fact, we even have a study from Florida
I-
International University,
That's my point. So
FIU.
we've
If
been
you wanna
working-
implement that, that's been.
Mr. Mayor, go ahead.
In our
Scott. I have a
guideline,
question
we
after that.
add multi-family units, and that's mean it's not nothing that new to. Go ahead.
Sure.
After that, you see.
The budget we adopt tonight is not final. It's
Yeah.
final for reporting to the state's purposes, but it's not final. And it doesn't mean we can't amend it during the year.
Okay.
What if we added a monthly report on affordable housing to the CRA agenda? If we're giving you 2.3 million right now, you report on a monthly basis how much you've spent, where it is, and if
Okay.
in 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, we
Okay.
need to
Okay.
redirect the
Right.
money from here to here, let's
Okay.
do it.
Okay.
Um,
I agree.
I'm
Okay,
in
that's fine.
agreement. Absolutely,
That's
Councilman.
fine.
But
And-
what I would
Go ahead.
also, Mr. Mayor, would ask the executive director and the director to do, because we gotta be very strategic. We can't be kidding ourselves. We don't have no space. So I would like to see a plan of where are you guys thinking of building affordable housing? Because we don't, unless we're breaking homes to do buildings, which, I'm open to whatever, but you guys need to come up to us and say, if we have 10, let's just say we have 100 million, I don't think in our situation, it could resolve our problem because we don't have nowhere. I
We
mean,
have
right?
places.
And
We do?
We have a study.
If
We
so-
have a
do
study.
we-
University of Miami
It's-
did a study of open
Everybody,
lands.
Yeah, but I don't
everywhere.
think it's,
I don't know how much.
yeah,
it is.
I don't think the land was, they said that you could, because we don't have no land, if you look around. I
Right.
mean, in your
There's
area,
not much, yeah.
there's not
The
much.
railroad tracks,
So
I
we
think,
will
is
need to have
fine, but-
strategically, exactly,
We-
where are we looking? Are we looking, and Mr. Mayor, this is where it'll come in. I've always said that, let's not touch for example, in my district, I'm just being honest and open. If we want to do anything, we only have a 9 acres, which we were saying that we're not doing anything. We don't have nothing else, except if we said as a board, you know what? Then maybe we might have to do something there and take it to the residents, because nowhere else on District 4, you could build something. Because the other 9 acres across the street, it's already been purchased.
well, you guys did take a policy, you made a
Mhm.
policy change recently
Yes.
that will allow for. what
Well,
you want,
exactly,
which is
on
all
7th.
of 7th Avenue.
So we,
Going up.
it going up.
And
So we
adding
will
the
need to
residential.
know, this is where are we going, what are we buying, where we could go, because we don't have no land. If,
Also, keep in mind, and this is from my past experience, right now, and dealing with a developers
You see
right
the
now.
city of Miami, for example, they didn't have
That's-
land, but we see a lot of
Well,
housing.
So what they
We-
did there was, well, actually, in the city of Miami, they actually
They
did have a
land.
lot of
They
land.
have a
Yeah,
lot of-
The
but-
CRA had tons of land, in fact, and they gave it out. And they only just didn't give the land. You go to some of those transactions, and that's the point I was trying to make. They give land, and then they're giving 10 million, 15 million
exactly,
in
incentives.
cash on top of that to build brand new. Construction costs are through the roof right now, and that's the type of subsidy that would be needed in order to deliver from the ground. So what I would recommend, or part of what we'll be discussing, is how we leverage our dollar. It won't be the total dollar, but it'll be dollars in to get the developers to come in and build units. Or, and this is one of the ideas, you don't necessarily need an affordable housing developer. If we have someone that's building an apartment building,
Yeah.
we have the developer
We have
who's
The
doing
plan
stuff.
is, just say the plan is there. You just give
The
a
recommendations are
copy
there,
of the,
yes, yes.
the
All these
studies,
recommendations
and
are
you're
there.
gonna see it's in there.
I'm just trying to give
Everything is
live
there.
examples of
Yeah,
us going in. If somebody's already building a building, we go to them and say, hey,
yeah,
here's $500,000, but we need 20 units in this
Within
building
yeah. That's
to
exactly.
be
Yeah.
rent
That's the
rent
same
restricted.
thing as the project on 126 Street here, right
Yeah, but I
now,
don't think you want
and
affordable
12.
housing.
Huh?
I don't think you want.
We're gonna
affordable
have. Okay,
'Cause I
it's,
asked-
it's not gonna get 30,000 per unit from the city.
No,
If
that's
you
fine.
want,
I don't
if you
think
want
he wants
30,000, he wants. Listen, if you want 30,000 per units from the city, and you say you don't want any affordable housing,
Because if this is the same project, I asked him, and I understand as a business person, he just told me that's not the direction that they going in. There is other thing, which is fine.
they're not gonna build 100% of affordable housing.
They don't. some
But
people
in
don't
order
want
to
it
get
at all.
$30,000 per unit, you need some affordable.
Yes, you do.
That's what it is. If you have a $3 million project and I'm giving you more than 50%,
Yeah, then you can
that's
make the
it's
demand.
your that's it's not
it's the
demand, it's your requirement. Why will you give someone money to build luxury? That's what it is. If I'm giving you 30,000, you gotta have some covenant requirements in a plan like that for affordable. Well, I'm not gonna say 100% gotta be affordable, but it's a requirement. Yes.
We have a tremendous amount of housing that is so blighted and so unlivable that what I said years ago is we need to help these developers, partner with them, and get these unlivable properties rehabbed and make them affordable. They're gonna be affordable. You don't have to invent the wheel, they're already there. But Sixth Avenue, Dixie, I mean, just,
Yeah, they're
Council
already.
has
The money is.
mentioned a couple recently.
and we've got a lot of property that just needs to be
Yeah.
rehabbed and better use some money possibly.
Exactly. That's when if we
So with that, I'll move for approval of this.
we're not done yet, man.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. When you are done, I have a motion on the table.
Approval for what? Approval what? With that, what amendment?
With the
Well,
How can you make a s-
right, he made a suggestion that I definitely in agreement with, that we can get a monthly report and then make any amendments that we need to do at that appropriate time. So I figured that as a board, we would then agree to approve the proposed budget, and then if there are amendments that needs to be done, we'll do it as a board.
I would
Is that my
second that.
understanding?
just
That's
one-
for one point.
Yeah,
That's
one
for the
last question.
affordable housing. We're not done yet.
Okay.
One last question, Rasha, with the rain camera project, which I know the police station have told me it worked out tremendously well. So whatever that we do, just make sure that we do it where it's, because it's all over and it's working pretty well.
Okay, another question. Capital project P3, $500,000 for one.
So if you recall, the city received a unsolicited proposal to redevelop our immediate downtown area. As part of that exchange, the city would get its public parking garage that we're required to build under the interlocal with the county. As part of their proposal, they've agreed to build a new administrative building, as well as redeveloping 4 city-owned surface lots into housing, mixed use and residential.
Who proposed that?
It was the same group that built the project that's in your district, your former district, 840, well, maybe it's Carroll's, 840 Northeast 130th Street, the Turkish group.
I never see that.
You haven't built it yet.
You saw
I
it.
haven't, no,
On the city
I never
side.
see any plan
On the
like
city
that.
side.
Okay, all right, well,
You see, you got it?
Yeah, no, I remember. Yeah, it's a couple months ago.
yeah.
I never saw it.
That's
Okay,
the
well,
Dell-
I will make another copy available to you.
So wait,
It's
I
just
don't-
an offer, it was an
Right,
offer
we
that
I
don't
was
never
have to
seen,
accept it.
yeah, I don't.
Yeah, we
I-
haven't accepted it, I'm saying it's an offer that was made.
But you
Oh.
put the money in the budget
Well,
for.
I'm anticipating doing one of two things. If we're able to advance the P3 and actually get all of that out of it, we probably won't spend that much, we won't spend that money.
Spend that
um,
money to do what?
Environmental testing.
Environmental testing, pre-development, work for the project, which would be our parking garage.
How much the how much the partner is going to bring?
The
when we bring
partner, like I said, would build the parking garage, administrative building, plus I think they're asking for a participation payment over 10 years of $3 million per year. And then, they would get the opportunity to then develop on the other 4 lots.
I never see a plan like this. Okay.
I'd
Well,
like to see the plan.
They
Howard.
never gave us a
You saw
solid
it,
plan.
you saw
No.
it?
It was
I'd
more
like
an
to see it.
overall general offer, and then if
Yeah.
we like it, great.
Yeah,
If we
but I
don't like
understand
it-
that, but we already have a $5 million for that.
It's not 5 million, sir, it's 5
Huh?
million.
That's
You
half a
understand?
But it's, just to say that this, because we're on the clock for the interlocal, that we have to get it done, whether it's this person or not, this was part of our downtown, concept plan that was approved in 2014.
To
We
do
would
what?
s-
to
To
redevelop. the
redevelop
downtown.
the downtown with the new city hall, mixed use, apartments, retail, new
Where is
retail.
the invest? If the 500,000 is to do that for study, for
It would
survey,
be
for
for
what?
the, like, the appraisals, the environmental testing, all the pre-work we
Pre-development,
have to
any
do,
pre-development work that we would need to do.
that we need to get done to
Yeah.
get to that point.
You see,
for
we're
the public
spending a
lots.
lot of money on plan this, put paperwork
You-
there. From 2013 to now, we have a lot of, almost 20,000 page of plans. We are
Well-
spending millions of dollars in those plans, and at the end of the day, when it comes to do a budget, we need to borrow money from Solemia to balance our budget. That's mean tax increase, no tax increase.
Well, sir,
Except the ad valorem tax, where those homeowners, those residential have to pay for our thing.
Well, you just remarked about us doing things that will create more revenue to the city. By achieving this project, you're talking about increasing our tax base by multiples. Because we're talking about 4, medium scale, mixed use residential buildings in the core of our downtown, which will have retail, residential, and everything involved. So, whether it's this $500,000 or if it's $100,000 at the end of the day that we need to invest to advance it, we're moving towards, I think, the policy direction you're looking at. If you want to cut back that number to $500,000 and put it in affordable, that's not a problem. We
That's
just need
what
to
I'm
have
asking
some
you,
dollars.
man.
I have a
Okay,
question.
another. You don't have a
We need to
que-
have
I'm
some
not
dollars
done
for
yet.
the-
When I'm finished, I'm going. Whatever you want, you will get it. Give me a second, please. Okay, you done. Okay, and you have 424,000 for downtown parking garage. What we are going to do with that?
It's the same, but that's specifically for the parking garage, the pre-stuff that we need to get done.
What pre-staff?
The environmental, those, engineering and preparation work that we need to get done for the property, for the parking garage. So the first one, the P3, is for the larger project.
It's like talking about the parking garage at another
Well-
point.
well,
Time
the-
we are negotiating with
So,
822 for them to do another project. I think we know exactly what we wanna do with that space.
Well,
over
like I just said, Mr.
there,
Mayor,
from what I understand.
if you wanna, and I just put it on the record, if you wanna reduce that amount,
That's not
'Cause-
my point. It's like
Well-
we put $1 million for downtown parking garage. We have that money to conduct study. At another point, we are negotiating with a MOU with 822 to do something. Remember, we give you authorization to go and talk to those people for a MOU. You never bring the result to say who want it, who don't want it. 822.
The property owners on the retail.
oh,
all
yeah,
those
they,
things,
they,
yeah.
they all, so,
We never bring the result of that.
so they all executed those MOUs, and actually, that information has been provided to the proposer, which is the reason why.
We never get a result of that, but at the same time, we are budgeting too. Okay. No money for Sasso Pool. And you said, you're talking about
It'll be completed.
the previous project?
It's been for 3 years.
That's the facade,
Okay, for
not the interior.
capital, for commercial, you have $1.5 million, right? Okay. Let's see, for example, right? Or cinema, for example, you're talking about Dixie Highway, and we haven't seen any change. Or cinema, that's one of maybe the best thing coming on Dixie Highway, and I don't see nothing there for that.
That's why I sort of asked the veiled question, because I don't think that we probably know O Cinema is very interested in moving. I know that they're very interested in moving into the old Miami Way Theater. That's why I asked the question a little bit ago about
Because
flexibility
those
with
things
the
are one
budget,
part, we keep,
because they need to work out a deal with the landowner, and until they do that, our good intentions mean nothing. If the Miami Way Theater is tomorrow rented to, Bob's Burgers. Anybody else watch that show? Bob's Burgers.
or Privatel.
Then it means nothing. So if we have the flexibility in the budget to address something like O Cinema, if and when it really happens, that's why I asked that question a couple minutes ago. I just didn't want to name them because I want to put their business out there.
Out there.
So I have a question in terms of the parking garage. If, what is our goal or our deadline in having that done per our agreement? What year do we have to complete
We
that?
have to have a minimum of 60
Parking
parking spaces, public parking spaces built by 2024.
and a retail.
By
storefront.
2024?
With a
Retail.
retail storefront.
Right.
Okay, so if we wanted to amend this for just this fiscal year and take this basically million and put it towards affordable housing, or maybe,
I
Right.
would,
No.
I would not suggest the whole, that's what I said, leave at least a
No,
quarter
I
million.
agree with Scott,
Or-
and
or
we're gonna leave it. I just wanna mention those areas. I'm not asking us to take money from that and add it to affordable housing.
okay.
That's not what I'm doing.
That's-
Or-
I
or-
just wanna
or com-
point it out.
Right.
But
I
that's
just
the
wanna
budget
point it out.
flexibility.
That's the area that I think that's need to be looked at it. And you have 735,000 for a green trail
And Griffin Center.
for Griffin Center,
Griffin
toward
and
Griffin
Green Trail.
Center.
That's it, yeah, West 60 Green Trail and Griffin Center design.
We don't want the green trail anymore. We said we need the money to go toward the Griffin Center. We understand that if that is going to open, that the plan die with the that new plan for 125th Street and Dixie Highway. That's why we said 123rd and Griffin Center. Where are you gonna put the green trail?
It actually ends at the park, so
Start where?
it ends at Griffin Park.
The 123rd, that's the one that we were supposed to be doing. That was part of the downtown.
Yeah, but the green
master
trail
plan.
start on 125th, which is now is going to open. We won't have it, that
Well-
pedestrian things. The whole plan die with the new FDAT.
They're not taking the whole street, are they? They're just taking a lane to go south.
We're gonna have one bound open.
Yeah, so
The-
we still
the
have,
westbound.
but we still have the northbound that we can make somewhat of a green trail,
You see,
a walking trail.
okay.
I mean, you still got a piece of street there.
735,000. toward
Mike, what's the
Griffin
funny joke
Center,
back there?
Okay, Griffin Center, please.
It's okay, we can hear you.
What happened? The
No.
mic.
I heard them laughing in the back. I want to know what the joke was. I'm just pointing out we can hear you up here.
It's okay. There's nobody else in the room, we can hear you.
Okay, now do you have a question?
I asked my question already, Mr. Mayor.
You done?
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair.
Are you done?
For now, yes.
Can I hear a motion on the budget, please?
We already have a motion and a second
second.
by Board Member Keys. Is that
I'll-
correct, Madam Clerk? Or Secretary?
I have a motion made by Board Member Estimate Irvin to approve Agenda Item 2. The motion was seconded by Board Member Keys. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The item passes with a 5-0 vote.
For expedience purposes, Mr. Mayor, I just want the one item before you adjourn, because I know you have to adjourn right away. It was just mainly regulatory. We have to advertise the meeting dates for the new fiscal year. So in the back of the attachments, you'll see the advertisement and the dates. I just want to mention that because of Yom Kippur, our CRA meeting is right before the council meeting, which is Monday, October 7th, and therefore the CRA Advisory Committee is September 30th, that Monday. After that, I have no other reports to provide at this time.
Thank you very much. Can I hear a motion to
Motion to
adjourn?
adjourn?
Thank
Second.
Motion made by Board Member Keys to adjourn, seconded by Board Member Estimate Irvin. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item passes 5-0.